When Zeus turns Tally into a tree, it's so much darker than the book, and honestly, it's a tremendous improvement.
Okay, hold on. You all heard him, right? Better? I don't know about better, but watching a god zap his daughter into a houseplant was absolutely brutal. My jaw was on the floor. It was incredible television.
The battle for Camp Half-Blood might be over, but the war for this studio is just getting started. Season 2 of Percy Jackson and the Olympians just finished adapting The Sea of Monsters, and as a lifelong book fan, I can honestly say I loved the changes that they made.
And I'm just loving the show. I haven't read the books, and honestly, why would I need to? The season was a masterpiece that had me hooked from start to finish. Now, you may have noticed I have been in the last few videos. I'm his better half. My name's Ashley, and I think the show is pretty much flawless.
Now, Ashley might not have touched the books, but I have read them, which is why it's my solemn duty to point out that all the differences that I think actually made this version of the story even better. We're going to break down the biggest changes, the moments that made us cheer, and why my book nerd perspective and her fresh eyes have us seeing this season in pretty much two different ways.
So the big question for all of you is this. Is the Percy Jackson series a brilliant standalone show that anyone can just jump into and enjoy?
Or is it a masterclass in how to adapt a beloved book by making smart, necessary changes? Let's get into it. Alright, as the resident book reader, let me just lay it all out for you. Season 2 wasn't just great television. It was a better version of The Sea of Monsters. The single best thing that they did was break free from Percy's first-person point of view. In the book, we only know what Percy knows, but by the show showing us everyone else was up to, the show made the world feel more bigger and more alive. And the biggest winner of this change, Clarice LaRue. In the book, she's basically a one-note bully who gets sent on a quest. We're told that she's struggling, but we never actually see her struggle. This season, we were right there with her. We saw her get the prophecy, we felt the crushing weight of her dad, Ares, giving her a literal skeleton crew of zombies and telling her not to mess it up. We watched her transform from the camp bully into a real conflicted leader. Dior Goodjohn's performance was incredible, and this change was finally something to give a major character arc to Clarice LaRue, in which she always deserved it from the beginning. But the real masterstroke here was the finale. Let's be real, the book's ending is very anticlimactic. They grab the fleece and they just kind of leave. The show gave us an epic siege on Camp Half-Blood with Luke's army trying to tear down Tally's tree. Now that's high-stakes television. It ties every single storyline together, and you get to see Percy and Luke duel on the very ground that they're fighting for, not just some random cruise ship deck. You see Tyson save his brother, and you see Clarice have her massive heroic moment. They turned a simple escape into a desperate fight for their home, and as a book fan, it was everything that I could have wanted.
I don't need a book to tell me what incredible TV looks like, and friends, this was it. Now, you just heard Tyler talk about the changes, but all I'm thinking about is how perfectly the story unfolded. For me, it all came down to the characters. The show didn't need a manual to tell me who they were. It did the work right there on screen. Now let's talk about Tyson. Tyler might call his introduction a change, but for a new viewer like me, it was perfect. We meet him, and he's already family. Sally knows him, she loves him, she's brought him into her home, and it immediately establishes this warm, loving dynamic. There was no awkward, who's this kid, period. He was just Percy's brother from day one, which made everything that happened next feel so much more personal and heartbreaking. It was simple, emotional, and it just worked. Tyson was the sweet, lovable character. He's actually one of my favorites. And the whole plot with the poison tree, I was on the edge of my seat. Tyler mentioned that they changed the main suspect, but honestly, showing us Luke do it in the first episode was a brilliant choice. This wasn't a whodunit for the audience. It was a, what are you going to do about it, for Percy? It made the conflict personal from minute one. The villain wasn't some shadowy threat. It was Luke, Percy's friend, and that feeling of betrayal fueled the entire season. My favorite part, though, was Talia's story. Those flashbacks showing this girl who defied the gods, only to be turned into a tree by her own father as a punishment, That is unbelievably powerful stuff. And instantly, it establishes the gods are terrifying. They're petty tyrants and they set the stakes impossibly high. It made her return at the end feel monumental. The show didn't need to lean on ancient myths or book lore. It created its own powerful legend right on screen. It was amazing.
Okay, so I have to jump in on Talia because it's fascinating that Ashley and maybe a lot of you who haven't read the books love the moment so much without the context. In the book, Zeus turns her into a tree as a last second act of mercy. It's a rare moment where a god shows a glimmer of heart, but the show twisting it into punishment, so much more interesting. It makes the gods genuinely terrifying and gives Talia a powerful reason to be angry at her dad. It's a change that improves the long term of the story.
See, that just proves my point. I don't need the before to know what I watched was compelling. The book version Tyler just described sounds nice, I guess. But God as a cruel tyrant is way more gripping television, and the same goes for Tyson. Tyler brought up that his intro in the book is about Percy's internal conflict and embarrassment. That sounds a little slow to me. Why would we want to watch Percy be ashamed of his friend? The show made him family immediately, which meant Annabeth's prejudice wasn't just against some new kid. It was against Percy's brother. That gives the conflict immediate stakes for the whole trio.
And she makes a great point there. It streamlines the emotional arc. Speaking of which, let's talk with the tree poisoning. In the book, it's a whole whodunit. Chiron, a son of Kronos, is the main suspect, and he gets fired. They really put him out to pasture for a bit, but let's be honest, every book reader just knew that it was Luke to begin with. And they were pretty smart for just skipping the whole mystery and getting right to the drama. By showing us Luke poisoning the tree, his betrayal becomes more this immediate personal wound that drives Percy all season. It's a shortcut, but a brilliant one for TV.
Exactly. It's not a shortcut, it's a direct flight to the actual conflict. Why waste time on a mystery when the real story is friendship and betrayal? And regarding what Tyler said about Chiron getting fired in the show, he was just vaguely blamed while Tantalus took over. That felt like the only clumsy part of the season. He was just gone. And then all of a sudden he's back again.
Okay, I'll give her that one. That was a little weak, but it was a small price to pay for other changes that came from ditching the single point of view. Clarice's quest in the books, we just kind of hear about it. But the show kind of turned it into the season's B-plot. Seeing her get the quest, her fear, it made her a character that you could actually root for. When we see Percy finally team up, it feels earned because we're invested in both of their journeys.
Her story was amazing. I never would have guessed that she was a side character in the book because on the show she just felt as important as Percy or Annabeth. Diora Goodjohn was fantastic. However, I do have to say Annabeth is my favorite. She's smart, she's strategic, but you can also see the weight of her history with Luke in those flashbacks. Leah Jeffries is incredible. She's the cool, calm center of the entire group.
It's interesting that Ashley considers her as the calm center, because let me tell all of you, in the book, Annabeth definitely has way more of a temper. She's a prickly and arrogant and a kind of character, and her pride is a huge flaw. They definitely soften her up for the show, but I think it was the right call because it makes her more of a dynamic character with Percy, and it makes their partnership a lot more balanced. They matured her, and it serves the bigger picture of the war with Kronos. Every decision making Luke the clear villain, darkening Zeus's character, building up Clarice, it all serves that long-term story. And they're playing chess with this show, not checkers.
Okay, so it sounds like we basically agree on everything. But he just has the secret book decoder ring to explain why it's all so good. I think one thing that we can all agree on, though, is that the casting is perfect. Daniel Dimer, I believe it's Dimer,
Yeah.
as Tyson was the absolute sweetest, as I mentioned before. You just want to give him a big hug the whole time.
He captured Tyson's heart perfectly, and Ashley is absolutely right. Diora Goodjohn as Clarice was a revelation. The show gave her so much more to do than the book ever did, and she absolutely crushed it. She made you root for Clarice, which is something I never thought I'd ever do.
100%. And that final battle, I don't care how it happened in the book, the siege of the camp was epic. The visuals, the monsters, the fight between Percy and Luke with everything exploding around them. It was spectacular.
It was amazing and it was an absolutely stunning sequence. But I'll be honest with all of you, as a book lover, there is one change that I absolutely didn't like. In the book, Percy was a brave hero who makes intelligent choices, playing every battle to his strength. But in the show, the battle at the end with Luke pounding his face in, they turned the hero from an intelligent fighter into a stupid wimp. In the book, Percy would never have fought him toe to toe. Instead, he would have played to his strength, like try to retreat to a body of water. I also love that they kept the tone serious by not including the party ponies.
Wait, hold on. There are party ponies? Okay, now I feel cheated. Why would you cut out party ponies?
Probably for time, and to keep the tone a little more serious. I also missed the dodgeball scene from the book's opening, where Percy and Tyson had to fight giants in the school gym. It was a hilarious and scary scene in the book, but the changes that they made instead, like building up Clarissa's journey, were probably the smarter choice for the season. You just have to be able to dodge a few book scenes to make great TV.
Okay, fine. I think we can all agree again, getting more Clarisse was worth losing some imaginary party ponies. That's a deal I can live with. The passion from everyone involved is just so obvious.
So after all that, my position is clear. As a book fan, I think Season 2 made smart, bold choices that actually improved on the source material. It chose spectacle that was earned by theme and turned good moments into great characters on screen.
And I'm sticking to my guns. I believe Season 2 is just fantastic television, period. It built a world and characters that were compelling all on their own, no required reading. It took me on a thrilling ride and left me wanting more.
The debate is far from over, though. And now we're turning it over to you. We've made our cases, but what's your opinion?
Are you Team Ashley, loving the show as a fantastic story in its own right? Or are you Team Tyler, a book fan who thinks the changes made it even better? A bit of both? Or did you hate the changes that they made altogether? Let us know your verdict, and more importantly, why, in the comments below, and we want to hear what you think.
And while you're down there, make sure you don't forget to like and subscribe. With Talia back in the picture, we have a lot to talk about. Our next video is all about what her return actually means for the Great Prophecy, and how Season 3 might tackle the Titan's Curse. You won't want to miss it, and thanks for watching.
See you in the comments.
Rift of the Damned, Malice of Malgrath.